Who we got on there? Is that Drew?
We got 35th District Representative Drew McEwen. Good morning, Drew.
Good morning,
Good morning.
Drew.
How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Not too bad, thank you.
We wrapped up the session last week, and how you feeling about that?
Well, I'm glad it's done.
Right?
That's good. As we've talked, I mean, for me and my side of the aisle, it was playing defense all session. I'm glad that we got out of there without tax increases, so I'm pleased with that.
Mm-hmm.
And I consider that a big win. And as far as our agenda and major things to push, obviously that's a little tough to do when you're in the minority. But we got some things accomplished, including getting a housing authority clarification bill done for counties like Mason County. I'm pleased with that. That was signed into law yesterday, and a couple of bills related to domestic violence. I'm pleased to have those signed into law. And then also, working with the capital budget and some significant projects for our district, and I'm pleased with those items as well.
There was a fair chunk of change coming into the 35th at the conclusion of this. That really is going to help. How does that help kind of a ongoing economic development? I mean, there's the construction that will be needing to be done, like at the library and things like that. So in addition to just securing the funds, what do you know about how that helps last a little bit in the community?
Sure, and some, every project's a little different. Some things I think frankly, are relieve the local units of government from some financial pressure. And that's a positive. So it's less money that they're having to spend out of their local budgets, and that has a compounding effect. And the unmeasurables are things like the visual pride in the community, and what is that? Does that have an economic impact? I'd argue it does. It's hard to quantify that. But then, some things are real easy to quantify, and that's like the sewer connection for Basin 3.
Mm-hmm.
That's a huge lift for Shelton. That directly impacts ratepayers. That's money that does not have to be spent and subsidized by ratepayers. So that's huge. And then also the design money going in to extend the Belfair sewer up into the Port of Bremerton industrial area. That's a long-term project, but as that happens and more is brought online to the Belfair sewer, that has a direct economic impact to the folks in North Mason. So those are very, very positive items to be had there, and and certainly in the things like the North Mason Boys and Girls Club, that was a $400,000 item there. That you do have the direct impact on construction that impacts the local area in a positive way. So in the big scheme of things, it has a significant impact. Some of them are more measurable than others, but it helps move the community forward on a number of levels, and I'm proud to be a part of that.
We talked, and you kind of briefly mentioned it, but as the session ended, the conversations started picking up for what should be looked at next time around, and a likelihood or some conversations maybe on helping the counties with some of these unfunded mandates. Do you see more and more momentum building to help out the counties when it comes to those things?
Oh, absolutely, and it's something that we really do need to do. We as a state government put a lot of requirements on county government, and they're really an extension of the state government. And you look at things like indigent defense, a huge cost, especially to places like Mason County.
Yeah.
Where on the economic scale, you have frankly more folks that are in need of public defense that are going through the judicial system than you might have in some other areas, and that is there's a constitutional duty to make sure that they've got that defense. And a huge cost of that is borne by the counties, and that is something that we fought for in helping that in the budget, and didn't get the traction, as much traction as we'd like, but we're going to continue to beat that drum, and I think that's things like that are going to continue to be at the forefront. And this budget, it did a lot of good things, but it also left a lot to be desired, and some of that is lifting that burden off of local government, and we really need, I think, at the state level to be more conscientious of that. But we've put ourselves in a bind, which is one of the reasons I voted against this budget. It spent every last dollar, and we get an economic downturn, we don't have a lot of room to maneuver. So that's a concern to me, and that also will impact local units of government as well. And I think the state, I know the state needs to do a better job on its budgeting.
Today is the month anniversary of the shooting down in Parkland, and students across the country are walking out. We've been kind of following it a little bit.
Sure.
What are your thoughts on this?
Well, I think one, it's obviously very unfortunate that it takes an event like that to put things into the headlines, and I think we all desire to have a society where that's not the case. Is there a silver lining? If it inspires young people to get more involved, that's a good thing, regardless what the issue is. So I welcome that. Again, it's extremely unfortunate that it's an incident like that has spurred that, but I understand that. There's a number of folks that have grave concerns, and rightly so. And I just, we really need as a society, I think, to just look inside of ourselves and, what are we doing just to make the world a better place? And I know it sounds a little cliche, but there's an interesting statistic that's out there, and I cannot off the top of my head recall who did this study, but when you ask people, do you have somebody close to that you can talk to outside of family? And when you take the outside of family, it's some astronomical figure, like 70% that don't really have anybody to turn to. And where I'm going with that is, as a society, yes, we have social media, and it would seem that we have all these conversations, but we really don't. We don't have people to turn to, and our society has shifted. It used to be you lived, worked, and went to school and church all in a 6-block radius. We're not like that anymore, and I think we just really need to focus on. As a society, getting back together, frankly, and talking, and I think when you look at these tragedies, it's oftentimes that it's individuals that felt they had no other outlet, and they picked the worst possible extreme outlet to do what they've done, and. So I hope that in this holistic conversation, we really look at how we treat our fellow mankind and do a better job and being more open and listening to each other more.
I know that you're on social media, both personally and through your house page, and we are as well on the radio side. And you're right, the social media aspect appears like it should connect us closer, but it really seems like it's at many times dividing us even more, and some of just the anonymity and just the complete negative and pretty atrocious comments and language that people throw back and forth. That doesn't help anything.
No, it doesn't. And it's easy to do that when it's quote unquote faceless, because you're typing. It's
sure.
not, and I'll give you a good example. And I'm by no means unique in this regard. I mean, as a politician, we're going to get hate mail.
Yeah.
We're going to get the hate emails, and every once in a while, I mean, I'll get where I can just tell that somebody's absolutely frustrated and they're genuinely upset, and they write an email that probably is not the normal way that they would communicate. And you pick up the phone, you call them. And it's a completely different conversation.
Sure.
It really is. And yeah, it's true. I don't know what the solution is on that. And if you read Lord of the Flies, it's like social media has kind of created this digital Lord of the Flies mentality.
Oh, it has. I never thought about it that way.
And it's just it's unfortunate. Again, I don't know what the easy answer is, but I think we, as a society, again, we need to come together, and I think social media can be very useful, can be a lot of positive, but it sure is easy to be negative and tip the scale the other way. And things seem to come full circle. I think we'll probably it'll solve itself in some regard, but I think we just need to do a better job of communicating with each other.
Well, before I let you go, how about a letter grade on the last session with all the pluses and minuses that you see there from your perspective? How we come out of this?
Letter grade on the whole thing. Well, that's a tough one because I'll give it a B minus.
Okay, that's a good grade, especially if for someone in the minority party that is trying to get their voice heard at the table, and sometimes that can, like you mentioned, go to deaf ears every so often.
Right. That's a good grade.
Good grade.
It's a passing grade.
We'll pass it for this time. All right, 35th District Representative Drew McEwen. Always nice talking with you, sir.
Likewise. Have a great day.
You too.